Good afternoon. Welcome to the Veracruz Bloom Computer Consulting September webinar. Today's topic is SimCloud, the perfect blend of e-commerce and CRM. Our guest speaker today is Eric Alexander. Eric is the Director of Sales at SimCloud and all-around funny guy, unless you ask his wife. A couple quick notes here. First, there is no webinar in October. Instead, you're all invited to our user conference on the 24th. And I believe, Eric, you're coming to that, aren't you?
That's right. Be there or be square.
All right. And then, so check out our website. You can find more information about where it is and the times and what's all involved and who's all going to be there. It's a great place to meet consultants, the vendors, and other users face-to-face. Second, today, there's a lot of content in today's presentation. So, you know what, given the fact that it looks like we're pretty good, and I know Eric pretty well, we're just going to take questions as you need them. So feel free to use the question box at the bottom of your screen and ask questions, and I'll just interrupt them as we go through the presentation. Finally, the webinar is being recorded. So watch for it to be posted on our website, and you can review it at your will. And with all that little housekeeping stuff out of the way, on with the webinar. Eric, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, turning it over to you.
Let's see here. What screen are you seeing?
Your screen, SimCloud, the blue one.
Okay, the main one. Okay, it didn't give me a choice like it usually does. Okay. So welcome, and so my couple disclaimers I say before every presentation I do. Number one, I love thoughts, questions, concerns, comments. If it pops in your head, feel free to shout out or type it in. No one likes to hear me talk for an hour, including myself, right? So, and my second one is that I tend to think I'm funny, but my wife reminds me on a daily basis just how unfunny I really am. So, and by the way, that was supposed to be funny too. So anyway, so everyone being on silent kind of messes me up a little bit. I'm used to a live audience. So anyway, so all right, so welcome. This is SimCloud. So if anyone knows us, we used to be known as Website Pipeline, and I'll cover that just here in a second. But we are the best of CRM, the best of e-commerce, all integrated with your ERP, with your Sage 100 ERP. So, so that's the whole goal today, just kind of cover that. And I've only got like 60 or so slides to cover, so sit back and relax. Just joking, I've got like 2 slides here. I'm more of a live demo guy, so we're going to go rogue and we're going to show stuff. Okay. So this is kind of my agenda quick today. Number one is just kind of what is SimCloud, why do we do it, and what's different than Website Pipeline. If you've known us in the past as Website Pipeline, kind of what's going on. And then number 2 is we'll just actually jump in right to the live demo, show the different. I'm gonna kind of the easiest way for me to explain this is kind of walk through the different audiences that could be going to the website or the product, and just how they interact with the product and kind of what they can do. Okay. So I'm going to try to demo all the new features that we have, and then any Q&A, hopefully we'll be entering those as we go along, but we'll stop a few minutes short just to answer that as well. All right. So here we go. Usually I would say any questions to start with, but here we go. So real quick here, per Steve's triggering of my memory, so I might be doing a little tell here on just how old I am. But if you guys remember this, I know Chandler probably does not. Chandler's on my team here. But this was the old Reese's Peanut Butter Cup ad from back in the 70s, I think, right? I don't know, Steve, if you remember this or not, when they say, you know, they'd bump into each other and they'd say, hey, you put chocolate in my peanut butter. And the girl would go, hey, you put peanut butter in my chocolate. And then they taste it and everybody like, oh, this is awesome. And that's how they'd introduce Reese's, right? So, So I'm kind of thinking that has a little bit to do with kind of what we're doing here. I've got a little different analogy that I use a lot of times with how I explain our SimCloud offering and what we're doing here. So really the way that I'd like to do it is we'll take a step back here, okay? So first of all, before I go into this, we'll kind of cover, you know, why we did it and what we were seeing in the market. So anyone that knows us from before, probably a year and a half or 2 years ago, knows us as Website Pipeline. Okay, so Website Pipeline, we've been around since '99. We have about 50, 60 people on staff now, and 100% of what we do as a company here are e-commerce projects that are fully integrated with Sage 100. So that's all we do all day long, and that's the only thing we do all day long. So what happened though was about 3 years ago or 4 years ago now, we developed some really nice salesperson dashboards that I'll show you here in a little bit. That really the salesperson dashboards. We had customers. Their feedback was, man, they're like, man, it's really awesome. Our salespeople can see aggregated data across all their customers. They can log in and place orders on behalf of customers. That's almost what our customers need for a CRM. And our response at that time was, nice try. We're not developing a CRM. No way. So, but after we got that feedback, not just a few times, but we got that feedback a lot, then we started looking into it a little bit, and we kind of realized a couple things. Number one is that the data that we were already syncing out to our e-commerce platform, and I'll show you this here in a second, and we realized that to have a really nicely integrated CRM, that a lot of that same data would be really nicely, could be used again just to integrate with the CRM. And then the second thing we noticed was, and if you guys can't see, I'm talking with my hands right here, so I should probably stop talking with my hands. But but the second thing we noticed was that we kind of realized what the iPhone did probably 10 years ago now, where before the iPhone came out, I was actually using, my phone, my iPod, my PDA, my camera, and a bunch of other devices, right? And then when the iPhone came out, I had one device that basically had all those different applications in one device. And before the iPhone came out, trying to get data from one device into another device, so trying to send a picture from my camera through my phone was a nightmare, right? And you almost couldn't be done. Whereas with the iPhone came out, basically all that data was in one device, and you could easily access it from all the different applications. So we said, man, that's genius, right? So, I'm saying here, I've got a blank slide, so I apologize for this. But the whole story with that is that we looked at it and we said, man, if we could have, the people with customers logging in, and they can essentially do anything that they could do with a customer service person, and they're seeing the same real-time data that employees are seeing, and everyone's just seeing a different filtered view and the meaningful data that they care about. And we had that all in one platform. And I think if we could pull that off, that would be really nice. And that's ultimately kind of where we're at today. Okay. So are we perfect? Absolutely not. And do we have a full feature set just like Salesforce? Not yet, right? But hopefully, as you'll see today, it's not bad. Okay. So the whole idea behind this was I was going to show you some slides here, kind of showing a step back where people, actually kept physical files. They could use payphones. Remember seeing those? And then calendars, handwritten calendars. I used to have one of these things, a Franklin planner, if everyone knows what that is, or a beeper. I used to sell these things back in the early 90s, believe it or not. And then cell phones. Oh, the Razor flip phone, I had one of those. And then ThinkPad, and then the Palm Pilot had one of those, camera, and then the iPod, and then the iPhone basically came out and replaced almost all of that. Anyway, so any questions on that? So I'm not going to cover any of this. We're just going to go right to the fun stuff. All right. So before I kind of get to the live demos, I'm just going to cover 2 slides real quick, and I'm not going to go into a ton of detail on these. But the main reason I'm coming to these slides is, number one, just kind of set the high level of all the pieces involved when we typically do one of these projects, so you can kind of see that. And then I'm going to use my handy drawing tool here. So I'm going to bring out the highlighter and say, hey, the first piece here is our whole platform. So a couple things about this on our platform is that, number one, we are a SaaS company, meaning that we build, host, and support our application. So customers don't need any additional hardware, software, or anything else. We take care of it all. And then number two is that we're completely standalone from Sage 100. So if your Sage 100 gets shut off, or if you lose your internet connection to your server, our product is still up and running, interacting with customers and employees, and those guys don't see any interruption in the service whatsoever. Okay. And then when your server comes back up, or your Sage 100 comes back up, then all the data syncs back up and you don't lose any data either. Okay. The second piece, of course, is your Sage 100, and we're compatible with all versions of Sage 100 up to the latest right now, which is their 2018 version, both on the ProvideX and the advanced SQL platforms, right? The third piece is our sync tool. So this is a piece of software that we install locally on wherever your Sage 100 system is. And our sync tool, number one, I want to note that there are no changes, no software changes to Sage 100 when we install our sync tool. So there's no modifications to Sage 100. And all our sync tool does is that sits quietly in the background and monitors Sage 100 for any changes in the data. So anytime your employees update items or pricing or customers or sales orders or anything like that, within about a minute after they make the change in Sage 100, then boom, you'll see it live on the website side. Okay, and the opposite is also true, where we're monitoring our whole platform for any new orders. Could be invoice payments, could be a return or an RMA coming in, and within about a minute after it happens on the website side or on the platform side, then you'll see it back inside of Sage 100, just like someone would have hand keyed it in, except for there's no mistakes, unless the customer made them, right? So, so really, there's really only three things that customers or people need to bring to the table to make all this work. Number one is just a normal internet connection to your Sage server, which I'm pretty sure everyone on the here has already got already. Number two is just all of your data coming out of Sage 100, including all your item data. Okay, and then number three would be, and by the way, this piece here represents about 95% of the work with doing a project with us. Okay, so if you have your item data in a pretty good shape, where you have pictures and descriptions and that kind of stuff, then you're in pretty good shape to work with us in any capacity. If you don't have that stuff ready, then no sweat, because your customers are already used to seeing your descriptions and your item numbers as they are right now, because they get invoices with them right now. So so no problem. We can start with that, and then anything you do to improve that in the future is just icing on the cake. And then the third thing you need to work with us is just a little bit of money, and then we're full speed ahead. Okay, so usually I'd say any questions on this, but we'll power forward here. Okay, so this is the typical information. I'm not going to cover this in any kind of detail right now. The couple of important things real quick are, number one is, even though I said I wasn't going to cover in any detail, the customer specific pricing. So when your customers log in to our platform, we know everything about them as soon as they log in, right? We know who they are. We know the exact price they should pay. We know what tax they should pay, if any. We know all their billing and shipping information. We know what terms they have, what credit limit they have, and then we know all of their sales orders, open invoices, historical invoices, shipments, and payments that they've made, right? And that's right out of the box with us. And then information coming back down typically is, people are able to place sales orders. We can take new retail orders from retail customers. We can pass in the credit card transaction information. We can pass in RMAs, and then we can also pass in cash receipts from invoices as well, invoice payments. Okay. So, all right. So, moving forward here, let's see if I can figure out how to erase this. Erase all drawings. Okay. So then I'm going to move on to my next one here. So this diagram, and the reason I bring you out to this diagram, I'm only going to spend a second on this, is to show you that, hey, once we have your data integrated with our cloud and synced out to our cloud, there's a bunch of different options that we can bring to the table. Okay. So the first option that the main things we're talking about today would be the ability, actually we're talking about all of these today. So, but the main things people come to us for is, number one, just a integrated customer self-service portal, and also the salesperson dashboards and the CRM tools. Every every project we do comes with a web-based control panel where you can actually update and maintain every single piece of content without having to come to us. So you can actually control your own website and all the content in it without having to come to us. We can actually do a really nice public e-commerce website as well. So if you want to take retail orders from end users, we have that ability. And then also, if you wanted to, we have an API layer that we can turn on to be able to sync orders from third-party pieces. So if you had Amazon orders coming in, or if you wanted to take orders from an already existing Magento or a third-party e-commerce site like Magento or Shopify or BigCommerce or WooCommerce or whatever else, all those popular shopping carts, we have the ability to sync orders in and then sync them right into Sage 100 as well. Okay, so all of these can be layered on, so you can. So the kind of the cool thing about our platform is that you can start wherever you want to, and I'm a huge fan of, hey, let's walk before you run. Because then you can come in and snap in additional pieces anytime you want to in the future, just kind of like Legos, right? So you'll know exactly what the price is to snap one in, and you can do that anytime you want to without penalty.
Hey, Eric,
Sure.
if you don't mind my interrupting here, at the
Please.
top of your circle, it says logged in users. Does that include customers as well as users within your organization, like people taking orders and that kind of stuff?
That is right. So that would cover, really we have both the employee user here, right, and then also the logged in customer. So it's kind of covering both sides of that spectrum there.
So in other words, I could actually use SimCloud and the components there to replace some of my Sage licenses, correct?
That is correct. Excellent point. So the cool thing is that our platform, and thanks for serving up that softball, Steve.
All right, I'll just quit kibitzing and go back to my mute.
No, I love it. So the really nice thing about our platform is that it does require one Sage user license, but if you had employees that were logging in using additional licenses in some other capacity right now through their laptop or VPN from the field or whatever, then those licenses would not be needed anymore if they were able to do everything they need to do through our portal. So thank you, Steve. All right. Any other questions or any thoughts, Steve? Did I leave anything out so far?
Nope, all's good.
All right. So let's get to the fun stuff here. Let's actually look at demo sites. So what you're looking at here is this is our demo site. And right now, this demo site is hosted in our co-location facility in downtown Greenville. So we have two different co-location facilities that we use in Greenville here. And then Sage 100, I'm getting ready to pull up here in a minute, is actually local in our office. So when we were talking about the pieces a few minutes ago, so this is our Sage 100 server in our office, and then the site we're going to be accessing is in our co-location center. And this is the Sage 100 system I'm demoing with is our 2018 version, but it wouldn't matter. We go all the way back to, I think, 4.5. So, by the way, if you're on 4.5, you need to talk to Steve to get you upgraded because there's a lot of cool stuff you can do. All right. So anyway, while that's firing up here, so this site is right now it's configured to be both business to consumer, business to business or B2B customers as well can log in, and also the employees can log in as well. Okay. So I'm going to kind of walk through those three different audiences here in some capacity and just kind of show you what they can do when they access the site, right? So first of all, every project that we do, every single piece of every project that we do is what we call fully responsive now, okay? So what I mean by fully responsive is that a responsive website means that it doesn't matter what device you access the website through. So it could be on your phone, laptop, tablet, 55-inch screen TV. The whole platform is going to automatically resize to be compatible with whatever device it is at that time. So some people say mobile friendly or tablet friendly or whatever else. It's our platform is whatever device that you're on friendly. Okay. So this is just an example. We have about 700 different software modules that we can bring to the table to do kind of any kind of function that you want to on your website, especially when it comes around to products and ordering and different rules and that kind of stuff. But this is kind of our out-of-box platform that you're looking at here. Okay. So an example here would be you can come in, you could search for categories. By the way, everyone here loves coffee. So I think a bunch of us are coffee snobs. I'm not really a coffee snob, but everyone else here seems to be. So it was really easy for them to come up with a coffee demo site. So anyway, so the cool thing is here is you can have as many categories as you want. You can have as many levels of category as you want. Let me sign out of this real quick. So I can go into coffee. I'll try this again here, coffee machines. And this would be the general public being able to come in. They could find products. They could click on the coffee machine they want to see. You can have as many different documents associated with these things. All the kind of stuff you'd expect from a normal e-commerce website. So you can have descriptions, reviews and ratings, specifications, additional images. You can have as many images as you want. We can show inventory availability. You name it. We pretty much have the feature that people can use from a retail e-commerce type of situation. Okay, so then this is the ability for them then to, they could add items to a shopping cart and check out and buy. Okay, I'm not going to do that right now. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to go into Sage 100 then, and let's just say if I wanted to then, kind of the nice thing is that the gold standard for all your item information is going to be in Sage 100. So you can come into Sage 100, and if you want to make a quick name change here, I could call this the Vraka's Coffee Maker, because I'm a brown noser, and then anything from Vraka's Bloom is definitely more valuable. So I'm going to make this $2,992, and then I'll make the price here $21.89, and then I'll click accept. So what I want you guys to notice is that that I didn't do anything special inside of Sage 100. I just did what any employee normally would do. They just updated the item, and then our sync tool just quietly in the background detected that change, and within a few seconds here, we're going to be able to see that change on the site. Okay. Now, while it's updating, I'm going to go in and show you that I've got actually customer-specific pricing set up as well, where I can come into pricing now. And like I said earlier, we can replicate any of the pricing logic in Sage 100. So as soon as your customer logs in, doesn't matter if you have price levels, contract pricing, quantity price breaks, promotion pricing, all that kind of stuff. As long as they can log in to the deal, we're going to know exactly what price they have. So you see here that I've got some pricing set up for myself here. So from quantity 1 to 5, I'm giving myself a 42% discount, take my price to $1,269.62. And then once I get above 11, I'm giving myself a very healthy 95% off, taking my price to $109.45. Okay. So then I'll just click accept again here. If I come to the site now and click refresh, fingers crossed, you see now that the name has been changed on the site, the pricing has been updated, and then there's some quantity pricing here, but I didn't show you that. We have quantity pricing actually set up with the retail pricing as well. So this is a little different pricing that is also actually in Sage 100 as well. But if I were to, I could add this to a shopping cart. I could check out as a guest. Let me do that real quick and just kind of show you that. So I'm not going to spend a ton of time on the retail storefront. I'm going to go into some of the other tools just because I'm short on time, okay? But if I had an account, I could log in, which I do. I could create an account right here as well, or I could check out as a guest and go through the checkout process. Okay, and I'll show you the checkout process here in a second after I log in. So if I come here now and log in, I'm going to log in as a B2B customer. So what I mean by B2B customer is that the system's going to know if I have special pricing or different terms or different items I should see or whatever. Then as soon as I log in, I'm going to have access to all that. In addition to, I'm going to have access to the system's going to know all my histories as well and be able to see that. So I'm going to log in right now as Erica 2222, and then my password. I'm not going to say that over the phone. And then you can see as soon as I logged in, that item, the price automatically changed to my I think it was my 40% off or 45% off price. And if I go back to this, you can see that my quantity pricing now takes me all the way down to my 95% off, which is the 109.45. Okay. The other thing now is that what I want you to see is that when I logged in as a business customer, the whole template of the website changes. Okay. Now it doesn't have to change, but after a bunch of feedback over the years from business customers, we realized that your business customers, they already know who you are. They want to be able to get in. They want big, easy to understand buttons of everything they want to be able to do. They want to do their transaction quickly and get back on with their day, right? And get back out. So this is what we did here. So we basically gave them big, easy to understand buttons of everything they wanted to do, including shopping. They can see a price list. So if they click shop here, they can see the shop. But now everything they're seeing within the shopping reflects their exact price out of the ERP. They can see a price list, where then, again, this is all their items and the price coming out of the ERP. They can download this if you want them to be able to, where then they can download it and then load it into their ERP system if they wanted to, right? So instead of having to call you and say, hey, can you give me your price list, blah, 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 you can say, hey, just go to the website, download it, and then you have it, right? In addition to that, they can create favorites lists. If they know the items they want to order, they can just come in and add them to the cart really quickly. They can just start typing them in like the COFM, and you see it automatically pre-populates the items here for them. So it's a type ahead, and then they can just click on it and add it to the cart. And then they could also see quotes. So I'll cover more of the quotes here in a second, but this is kind of neat and some of the new stuff we're doing. The other stuff they can do here is they can actually see orders. So not only can they see orders that were placed through the website, but they can see anything that got entered into Sage 100. Okay, so it doesn't matter if they phoned in, faxed in, or smoke signaled in orders. As long as they have access to the website, then they can see all that transaction history right here on the site. And the cool thing is that when they click actually on the order number here, you can see that they can see all the order header information, all the order lines. We show them exactly what was shipped and what was back ordered. They can see any invoice or invoices that are tied to it, any shipments that have gone out, any tracking numbers, and the tracking numbers are actually linked to the correct carrier, and we can actually track it for them, and they can actually see any payments that have been made. So what I love about this page is that they're actually able to see a full reconciliation of everything that's gone on with that order in one screen. Okay, and then from here they can actually click on. They can do a few things. So number one, they can reorder. So if they want to reorder that order from a previous order, they can do that. They can also click on the invoice here as well, and then we can see the invoice because we already know what their terms code is. We know how many days until that invoice is due. They can print that invoice right from here, and then they can also come over here and they can click Pay Their Open Invoices Now, and then we list out all the open AR here, and they can choose what invoices they want to pay, and then they can pay with either a credit card, or we have the ability, I don't have it turned on here, but they can actually pay with ACH as well. So they can come in, we can draft it right out of their account. You can avoid a lot of the credit card fees, and then that cash receipt goes right into Sage 100, gets applied to all the invoices correctly, and then all you guys have to do is just run the batch at the end of the day. Okay. So a couple other things that they're able to do on the ordering side. So one of the new things we came out with is the ability for customers to because we started thinking about this, we're like, man, we know all the order history that that customer has because we have access to your Sage system, right? So so we have the ability to pull from all those sales orders all the items that customers ever ordered from you, and then we have the ability to show them those items from the most frequently ordered items all the way down to least frequently ordered in kind of an order form view, so they can come right back and just start reordering from those things. So it's pretty cool. So they can come into products ordered detail. Actually, go here, sum of quantity. So they can go right down the list and say, man, I've ordered 316 of these coffee makers. They can go right down the list here and say, man, I want to reorder all these, or choose what they want to, because this is the stuff they order all the time anyway in a nice, easy, convenient order form. Okay. And then if they want to see, products invoiced or the detail of the stuff, they can see based on, someone asked me yesterday, hey, what if people want to say, hey, what was invoiced on this order at this date? They can actually see that right here as well, in an easy to understand format as well. Okay. So, Steve, am I missing any major points here?
Nope. So far we're looking good.
Okay. All right. Perfect. So, so a couple things about this. So, is that the goal behind this is that customers can log in. They can do anything that they could do with a customer service person, 24/7, 365, using just one Sage user license, and they can do it from wherever they have internet access, right, on whatever device they're on. So, and then from here, I'm going to log out from here, and I'm going to log in as an employee. So this is basically what an existing customer can do. I showed you on the front end of the website what a just anonymous or retail customer could do, so they could place orders. And then from here, I'm going to log out, and I'm going to show you what employees can do, right? So, and this is probably the magic that Steve wanted me to show you all along. So I've been waiting for the grand finale. So, so I'm going to log in now with a different login. So just my Erica login now. And when I sign in, so that login has already been configured to be an employee login, and we know exactly what customers that employee login should have access to. So meaning if he's a sales rep, he only gets a chance to see his customers, and then if it's an owner, right, then they can see across all customers, or customer service person, or whatever else, right? But the cool thing is that when I log in, then I'm seeing aggregated numbers here reporting across all the customers I need to be seeing, so I can see exactly how I'm doing. I can see how I'm doing month over month, year over year, the number of orders I'm placing and that kind of stuff, how much money my customers owe us, the top items I'm moving. And the other thing is that because we have access to all the Sage data as well, if there's different iterations or different tweaks that you want us to make to this, then we can pretty much show any kind of report you want to from here, right? So it's pretty easy for us to generate those reports. But right now, this is what we call our super user dashboard, and this is really kind of our salesperson dashboard, and this is kind of what got customers excited to start with, and saying, hey, this is really neat, and we also have the ability for them to log in as customers and place orders on their behalf, right? So this is kind of what got the train rolling. Okay. But from here, then there's a few things they can do, right? So I'm going to skip the accounts one right now, but I'm going to go right to interactions. So the interactions are basically anything that customers are doing, kind of like an open ticker tape of not only, transactions that they're doing, but we know when they're logging in, we know what items they're looking at, we know when they're making payments or whatever else as well. So we're just showing you this across all customers on kind of a deal, and you're able to come in here and create different views or filters on whatever you want to be able to see that's meaningful for you. Okay. You can also see what activities that you're doing on behalf of customers and the activities that are getting logged, right? So this is across, it could be across the whole sales team if you're a sales manager. You could see all that kind of stuff. So this is going to be more meaningful in a minute when I actually drill into an individual account. But then you're able to see tickets. So we have a full ticketing system now. that allows customers to be able to post tickets, so like service requests or whatever else. And then those tickets go into the queue here, and we know what employee they should be assigned to, and you can actually come in here and click on the view. And then once you click on the view, then you're able to come in here and type in notes. You can also do internal notes. You can assign it to other work queues. You can assign to different employees, and then you can basically, and also the response goes back out to the customer to let you know, hey, I'm working on it, and the status has been changed, right? So you can also attach files to it here as well. Sorry, my voice is going dry already. The other thing they're able to do is do quotes. So the piece I haven't shown yet, I probably kind of went backwards through this, is I got too excited, I want to get right to this part. But the ability for an end user or a customer to be able to log in, they could generate a quote. I probably will show this here in a second, but where they can go through, they could add items to an order, and instead of actually placing the order, they can basically say, hey, I want to send this off to my sales rep. We know who their sales rep is, and then that sales rep is going to be able to see a list of all the quotes that their customers have submitted to them, where then they can come in here and just click on view, and it logs them in as if they were that child customer. And then that sales rep can come in here and they can see, number one, what notes that customer has done. So that on this one, there's no notes here, right? But if they posted any notes saying, hey, please give me a discount on these items, they could do that. And then they have the ability to come in here and override the pricing. So I can make it $17.99. And then we also I have some controls here on quantity controls where we can control, hey, if I change this price, then you can't delete this item from the deal, and you have to order everything that's in this cart right now to be able to get this pricing, right? The other thing you can do is come into pricing controls. We actually give you some percentage pricing controls here as well. Okay, so essentially the rep can go edit anything on that order at this point, and then once they do, then they can also change the shipping amounts, anything on the credit card or payment information, and then they can save it and work on it later. They can return it back to the user for the user to go review and place the order, or send notes back to them and say, yep, this looks good, can you change this one last thing? Or the ability for the rep to actually place the order on behalf of the customer. So if the customer said, man, just give me 10% off, if you can do that, go ahead and place the order, and then the rep can go ahead and place the order. So this is some of the new stuff with SimCloud, which is really neat because everyone's looking at the same data, in this case, the same order or quote. They're looking at the same quote, and then everyone's able to interact with it and make changes kind of real time, and then it informs each other what's going on, right? So, so now I'm going to revert back to the super user real quick. So then some of the other stuff here is that they're able to see aggregated orders. So if you want to see, hey, did I get any orders today from my customer base, you can see them all in one spot, the shipments and that kind of stuff as well. Now, one of my favorite things here, I'm going to go kind of skip over to just the online activity. And this is where you can kind of go big brother on your customers, right? So this is where we're because, you know, essentially we're a website, we can track we're logging all the keyword searches that customers are doing here, so that you can come here and you can say, man, Ray came in and he was looking at this coffee maker. You can see what people are searching for on the website. So if they're searching for things that you don't offer or misspellings of items that you're wondering, hey, are they actually finding my item because everyone's misspelling what it is? Then you can make changes on the front of your website to make it more user-friendly, or you can start offering new things, or you can actually go approach customers and say, man, I saw you were looking for this stuff, or maybe you wouldn't say that, it might creep them out. But where you can say that they could come in and say, hey, I can give you a coupon on these type of things. Would that be interesting to you? They may go, wow, these guys are mind reader. How do you know that? So you can also see that you'll know what pages they're looking at. And if they started any shopping carts but never actually went through with it, you can actually see all the abandoned carts here as well. Okay. So from here, this is a list of all the customers that are assigned to you as that employee. Okay, so everything I've been showing you now has been kind of aggregated views of all the activity across all these customers. But then once you go to here as your list of customers, you're able to come in here and see the individual details. You can log in as one of these customers. And now all the data you're looking at this point is just individual customer data. Okay, so if I came here to stats real quick, as I say in all my calls, I wish I would have had this when I was in outside sales, because I would have been able to pull this up and then before I walked in to go see that customer, I could have been really intelligent about exactly what's going on. I could say, hey, how are these guys trending month over month, year over year? Are their sales way down for whatever reason? What's going on? Are they buying from a competitor? How much money do they owe me? You know, what are the top items they're moving, right? And how are they doing here overall? Okay. But then you can actually see, you know, their online activity individually. So this is where on the keyword search log, you can see, hey, just what Alexander Specialties is doing, what they're looking for. And you can see that Alexander Specialties is not really looking for any coffee products. They're mainly interested in Coke and Spray, right? So, and then the product page views of what they're looking at and any abandoned carts that they started. Okay. So, but then on the interactions, you're able to see exactly the interactions, kind of like the ticker tape of what they're doing. So when they're signing in and that kind of stuff as well. And again, this is just for Alexander Specialties. But if I go back to the dashboard here, this is where some of the CRM functionality comes in, where then now they can come in and just start, you know, they can log notes. You can have key account notes. So make sure this guy pays in full. You know, because that Alexander Specialty guys is, you know, he's a something, right? The word I was going to say is probably not appropriate for webinars. So, but had a great call, webinar, and then you can attach files if you wanted to. You can drag and drop them right here. The more options, you can basically give it a subject. You can give it a date and time. There's tags. The other things you can do is you can actually, from your email box, you can actually send an email to a BCC address. Then that email actually gets scraped, and those notes get dropped right into the notes here on the key account notes or on the notes. And then you also have the ability to send a text to SIM notes on from your phone, and that text will actually show up here, and then you can actually log it as well. So it's kind of neat because you could just be in the field and say, man, I got to remember to do this. You can send yourself a text real quick, and boom, it's going to be here for you to then go document it, right? But then you can come in here and you can start filtering down the type of activities or what's going on with all the notes. So if it's the entry logs, if it's emails that have been scraped, if it's texts that have gone out or tickets that have been placed, you can see them all here. But right from one page, then you can actually see all the account details, any online activities, so when they're logging in, any orders that have been placed, any open invoices they have, any shipments that have gone out, any payments that have been made. Okay. So I'm trying to think, that's kind of the down and dirty in like 45 minutes or less. Steve, am I missing anything?
No, excuse me. I'm used to doing my own talking.
Okay.
Actually, I'm definitely seeing where the peanut butter and the chocolate come together in here. But Eric, I do have a question for you.
Okay.
What if I have just a totally awesome website already, and you know, I don't want to give that up. I don't want to spend a lot of money in having you guys redo it, but I like the rest of the stuff you have to offer. What do you got for me?
I thought you'd never ask, Steve.
Okay.
No, the cool thing is that, so I'm going to show you a couple examples here. So the reason I take you out to Genuine Supply is because that we didn't have anything to do with this website. Okay, so this was completely designed by them, and we didn't do anything with it. The only thing that they did in order to work with us here is they added a little button here called Client Login. And this button could be anywhere, a link anywhere. And then all you have to do then at that point is click on the button, and then we pop open a new window. we match their look and feel so it feels seamless to the customer. I was gonna say it seems seamless, but that was kind of hard for me to say. And then from anything from beyond this point is actually on the SimCloud servers, right? So this is an opportunity where, you know, it said, hey, I've got a website, I'm totally happy with it, I don't want to touch it, I just want to add on the customer portal piece or the CRM pieces. No problem whatsoever. We can do that. No problem whatsoever, right? The other thing you can do is that if you had a third-party e-commerce website, so if you guys had already developed your own Magento website or your own Shopify site, and you're really happy with it, and you said, man, this thing's working great, I don't want to touch it, then no problem whatsoever. We can sync in the orders from that, and then we can have the customer portal at a different domain name or a subdomain, so that your B2B customers are able to log into that, or your employees are, and those two entities are separate but still integrated, right? And then the third option here, please don't judge the look and feel here, but I love these guys. This is newberrytanks.com. So with Newberry Tanks, this is their existing website, but when they came to us, so they already had this designed, and they wanted to add in an e-commerce component to their website, to their already existing website. So all they did here is they added a Shop Direct link here, and when you click on the Shop Direct link, then what happens is that it goes over to store.newberrytanks. We match their existing look and feel already, and then from this point forward, you're actually on the SimCloud servers and able to go shop. But if you click any of the other links up here, you actually go back to Newberry Tanks and kind of go back and forth kind of seamlessly. Okay. Did I answer that okay, Steve?
That was perfect.
Okay. Cool. Any other things I forgot?
I can't think of any. And I guess, does anybody else have any questions? It appears to be crickets there, Eric.
That's okay. So if we finish a few minutes early, that's totally fine with me.
All right. Well, I'm really going to be interested when you guys finally develop that thing for you know, computer consulting companies where we can put all of our stuff online too. But I'm sure that's ways out.
That's really nice. Now, I did just remember one thing that I kind of forgot here. So these are some of the concepts that we have coming out really shortly here. So this is the ability for sales reps to be able to come in here and manage an opportunity pipeline, where they can see opportunities, they can see the different funnel stages that they're in. All this stuff is customizable, where they can come in and drag and drop, right? They can drill into the opportunity detail in any of these things, where they can take notes on it. They can track the different stages of what's going on, and then we actually have this whole concept of ROT here as well in the stages, where we know you can set up, you know, the optimal number of days that an opportunity can stay in a different stage, and then if it goes in there too long, we color it red, and then we start hammering the sales rep with email saying, hey, you better start, you know, better contact these guys because they're rotting right now, right? So that's one kind of general concept, and then we also have goals here. So we have goal tracking that we're coming out with here shortly, and then to-dos and tasks. So this is the ability for people just to start entering in their personal to-dos kind of all in one place, so they can manage stuff, so they don't forget anything coming out either. So all right, now that's my dog and pony show in 50 minutes or less.
Well, great, Eric. If someone is interested in this, what should they do?
So they can reach out to you, Steve, at Veracruz Bloom, or anyone at the Veracruz Bloom team, and schedule a demo, or you can reach out directly to me. Either way, we're all going on the same page here, and happy to help. So my contact information, I'm not even sure if I have it in here. I don't have it in my presentation, which is crazy, but I can type it into this document real quick here if you wanted to, or some new document maybe. Somewhere I can do it.
Yeah. We can certainly get in touch with you one way or another.
Sure. So this is, let me do this. That's Eric Alexander at SimCloud. And then my phone number is 864-751-2417. So that's my direct dial number. So
Fantastic.
thanks so much. And even if you're slightly interested, please reach out, and I'll try to lead you in the right direction. Even if you're not a fit for us, I'll try to go point you in the direction to be the best fit for your company. So no harm, no foul.
Eric, you know what? You bring up a really good point, because going back to that very first slide where you have all the well, I call it the sunflower, but it's the one where you've got all the components there. You can integrate. I mean, the smallest piece is integrating just with a website. So if someone wants to take credit cards on their website and just bring that information back again, that's all they would have to buy from you. They wouldn't need anything more. I mean, once you get the sync tool in, you can add each one of those little clouds above there at a time. So you can start out really small, and as you grow, you can add the rest of the stuff in, correct?
That's absolutely true. So I'm a huge fan of, hey, let's start wherever makes sense, if at all, and then we'll grow it from there.
So yeah, so if anybody's thinking about doing anything on e-commerce, they should probably talk to you.
That'd be great. And even, like I said, even if we're not a fit, I'm happy to go point them in the best solution, best direction I can.
Cool. Well, I really appreciate it, Eric. Thank you for being our guest today and going through this with us. As I said before, this whole presentation is being recorded. It will be posted on our website. And if you have any questions in the meantime, please give me a call. Thank you.
All right, thanks, guys. Have a great day, and I appreciate your time.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye.